Listen closely, because today I am speaking to the part of you that has been silent for too long. The part of you that has suffered in silence, that has carried the weight of betrayal, rejection, and lies. I want you to understand something very clearly. Every hidden attack, every whispered insult, every plan made in the shadows against your life, it cannot stand against the power that resides within you. What they meant for harm, what they plotted in secrecy will be exposed, and it will return to them in full measure. The universe, the spiritual realm, the very atmosphere around you, everything conspires to reveal the truth. You don't have to fight with your hands, your fists, or your anger. The battle is deeper than that. It is spiritual. It is righteous. When they think they have succeeded, when they think you are defeated, that is the very moment their confession begins to form. That is the moment the scales start tipping. The moment the walls of deception crumble. You must take your stand today. Send back the evidence of their malice with faith, with authority, and with unwavering conviction. The sand that you carry is not ordinary. It is symbolic of what is pure, what is steadfast, and what has the power to settle scores without you lifting a hand in vengeance. Within 3 days, you will see the results manifest. What was meant to harm you will now speak for you. What was whispered behind your back will now be shouted in confession. But hear me, this is not just about seeing them punished. This is about reclaiming your peace, your power, and your purpose. This is about walking boldly into your destiny while the forces aligned against you are forced to acknowledge your strength. You are no longer a victim. You are the authority. You are the one who turns hidden schemes into open confessions. So rise now. Do not delay. Take up your stand. Carry it with faith and release it into action. Speak it, believe it, live it, and watch as the truth works faster than lies ever could. Do not stand by and wait for justice. Become the vessel through which it flows. Your enemies will confess, not because you sought revenge, but because you stood in the authority that was always yours. Now go with boldness and unwavering faith and claim the victory that has already been written for you. Do you feel like life has been hitting you from every side? Like no matter what you do, the obstacles keep multiplying, the betrayals keep piling up, and the people around you seem to be working against your progress. I want you to hear this clearly. Not every battle you are fighting is visible to the human eye. There are forces at work behind the scenes, energies you cannot see, schemes you cannot yet understand, and attacks you did not even realize were aimed at you. The hidden battle is real, and it is the kind of battle that tests the depth of your faith, the strength of your spirit, and the power of your conviction. When you feel weak, discouraged, or trapped, that is often the moment the battle is intensifying. But it is also the moment your breakthrough is being prepared. Many people live their lives unaware of the silent war raging around them. They feel frustrated and defeated because they cannot see the strategy being employed against them. They blame circumstances, they blame people, they blame luck. But the truth is, there is a spiritual war, and those who oppose you are trying to fight you in the shadows. They may speak words of malice behind your back. They may create situations to derail your progress. And they may plant seeds of doubt and confusion in your mind. But I am here to tell you that every attack has a limit. Every scheme has a breaking point. And every hidden plot has a way of being revealed. You are not a victim of chance. You are not powerless. You are standing on the threshold of seeing the invisible become visible, the hidden become exposed, and the truth triumph over every lie. Have you ever noticed that darkest moments in your life often precede the most extraordinary breakthroughs? That is no accident. The hidden battle works in your favor if you refuse to give in to fear or despair. Every time someone tries to pull you down without your knowledge, every time someone whispers against you while you remain unaware, every time you are pushed to the edge, you are being prepared. You are being strengthened, refined, and equipped to handle not just the visible challenges, but the invisible ones as well. The enemy works in silence, but so does the power within you. The unseen forces that oppose your peace, your progress, and your purpose are being confronted by an even greater force, the force of destiny, the force of destiny, the force of your unshakable spirit. You must understand that the hidden battle is not something to fear. It is something to recognize, acknowledge, and confront with wisdom. When lies are whispered, when betrayal is hidden, when darkness seems to surround you, that is your cue to rise. That is your cue to strengthen your spirit, to prepare your mind, to align yourself with the truth, and to activate the authority that has always been yours. You may not see the full picture yet, but every invisible attack carries within it a sign, a clue, a lesson, and a pathway to victory. Those who try to sabotage you in secrecy are unknowingly paving the way for your triumph. The hidden battle is real, but it is also a signal that you are about to step into a new level of power, clarity, and breakthrough. Have you ever stopped to realize the power that lives inside of you? The kind of power that no one can take, no one can manipulate, and no one can outmatch. Most people underestimate themselves because they only look at the visible world, the things they can touch, the people they can see, and the battles they can feel. But I am telling you today that your greatest authority is not in what you hold in your hands. It is not in your connections. It is not in your knowledge or your skills. It is in the unseen, the spiritual force that flows through you, the divine authority that has always been placed within your soul. You have a power that goes beyond physical strength, beyond human intellect, beyond circumstance. You hold unseen authority, and it is active, it is alive, and it is waiting for you to step into it. Many live their entire lives unaware of this power. They move with hesitation, they react with fear. They allow others to dictate their paths, and they accept limitations that were never meant to be theirs. The enemy wants you to send I small, to stay silent, to doubt your own capacity. But I am here to remind you that the very presence of that doubt is proof of the authority you have been entrusted with. If you feel resistance, if you feel attacks coming, if you feel the weight of opposition, it only means that your authority matters. It only means that your influence, your purpose, your destiny is significant enough to be challenged. And when you fully realize your unseen authority, you will no longer be intimidated by schemes, whispers, or hidden agendas. Your authority is not measured by confrontation or loud displays. It is measured by calmness in chaos, by confidence in uncertainty, and by faith that does not waver in the face of attacks. Every word you speak, every step you take, every prayer you offer, every decision you make is empowered by this authority. You are not acting out of fear. You are moving in alignment with truth. You are not reacting to threats. You are commanding the outcome. Those who try to undermine you, deceive you, or mislead you do not know that they are powerless against the force that resides within you. Even when the odds seem stacked, even when the situation appears impossible, even when you are surrounded by negativity and deception, the unseen authority within you is at work, turning the impossible into possible, transforming resistance into progress, and converting every attack into a testimony of your strength. Have you ever felt that deep, unshakable confidence rising within you in moments of challenge? That is your authority awakening. That is the silent voice of your spirit reminding you that you are not defined by appeasance, by opposition, or by limitation. The power within you enforces truth in ways that cannot be denied, reveals deception in ways that cannot be hidden, and establishes your purpose in ways that cannot be stolen. This authority does not require recognition from others. It does not demand validation. It does not beg for acknowledgement. It does not beg for acknowledgement. It simply exists, and it simply acts when you step into it with faith and clarity. Understand this. Every whisper against you, every plot against you, every attempt to manipulate or intimidate is powerless against the authority that flows through your spirit. You are not just a participant in life's battles. You are a commander in the unseen realm, a guardian of your destiny, and a force that even the darkest schemes cannot overcome. The moment you fully embrace this authority, you will move differently, speak differently, act differently, and see outcomes shift in ways that were previously unimaginable. Have you ever felt like the world is against you? Like every step forward comes with 10 obstacles. Like every hand extended to help seems to hide a trap. I want you to understand something vital today. Every plot designed to harm you is destined to fail. Not because of luck, not because of coincidence, but because the principles that govern truth, justice, and destiny are on your side. Every whisper meant to break you, every secret plan intended to stop your progress, every scheme that seeks to trap you has an expiration date. It cannot survive forever. And it will not succeed as long as you recognize the power and authority you hold within yourself. Too often, people live in fear of betrayal and hidden attacks, thinking that what they cannot see is more powerful than what they can control. They see the lies, the gossip, the manipulation, and they allow it to dominate their thoughts, paralyze their actions, and steal their peace. But hear me clearly, the enemy cannot outlast your resilience. Every plot against you has limits. Every plan hatched in darkness eventually meets the light. No matter how intricate the deception, no matter how cleverly it is hidden, there comes a time when it collapses, when it fails, when it is forced to reveal itself, and when the truth triumphs. Think about the times in your life when people tried to hold you back, when they whispered falsehoods, when they spoke against you, when they worked behind the scenes to derail your destiny. Did you know that every single one of those attempts that failed was not by accident? It was not because they were careless. It was because the force of truth, the power of purpose, and the authority of your spirit intervened in ways you could not even comprehend. This is the law of life. No attack designed to destroy you can prevail against the one whose destiny is guided by purpose and backed by unseen power. Even when circumstances appear overwhelming, even when the opposition seems clever and well organized, remember that failure is already written into every hidden attack. The universe, the spiritual realm, and the alignment of truth are constantly working in your favor. Those who plot against you are unknowingly working to prove your strength, to reveal their own weaknesses, and to confirm your victory. Every scheme carries within it the seeds of its own failure, and every attack, no matter how subtle, is destined to crumble because it is not in harmony with the authority, destiny, and power that are yours by right. Do not allow fear, doubt, or hesitation to give power to the plans meant to harm you. Do not overthink the whispers or obsess over the hidden agendas. They are temporary, they are fragile, and they are ineffective against someone who stands firm in faith and clarity. Your response is what matters, and your alignment with truth is what ensures the failure of every plot. The enemy may plan in secret, they may hide their intentions, they may try to manipulate outcomes, but the moment you recognize that failure is inevitable for their schemes. You are already one step ahead. Every time someone tries to deceive you, mislead you, or sabotage you, remember this: what they intend for harm is destined to fail. What they hide in darkness is meant to be exposed. What they plot in secrecy is powerless against the force that resides in you. Their success is temporary, their control is limited, and their schemes will ultimately be undone by the natural law of truth, by the authority of destiny, and by the unstoppable force that you have become. You are not at the mercy of others' plans. You are a master over what cannot withstand your resilience. Your faith and your unwavering purpose. Have you ever felt powerless, like the attacks keep coming and you have no way to defend yourself? I want you to know something today. Your actions, even the smallest ones, have the power to release divine justice. Yes, divine justice, forces beyond human understanding that respond when you step in alignment with faith and purpose. Many people think that justice requires confrontation, anger, or revenge, but the truth is far deeper and far more powerful. Justice flows through deliberate action, taken with clarity, wisdom, and spiritual authority. Every step you take, every decision you make, every prayer you speak, every symbol of faith you enact, even silent, it sends ripples across the universe that cannot be ignored. You may wonder, how can what I do change the outcome of hidden schemes? How can I influence what seems out of my control? That is exactly why this principle is so vital. Action is the bridge between prayer and manifestation. It is the key that activates the unseen, that commands attention in the spiritual realm, that forces hidden plans into exposure. You do not need to fight physically. You do not need to lash out, and you do not need to plead for intervention. You simply need to act with faith, to follow your instructions, to take the steps that align with your authority, and to trust that every act triggers, and to trust that every act you take has consequences far greater than what you see. A word spoken, a gesture made, a symbolic act performed with intention, it is like dropping a stone into a still pond. The ripples extend far beyond what the eye can perceive. In the same way, your faithful action sends vibrations of truth, justice, and power into the realms where lies, schemes, and attacks were intended to thrive. The plans meant to destroy you cannot withstand the movement of divine law that your action releases. The universe, the spiritual authority, the very forces that govern balance, respond when you step boldly and with faith. Many people remain passive, hoping that time will erase deception, that luck will balance the scales, that justice will come without their involvement. But passivity allows schemes to strengthen, whispers to grow louder, and attacks linger. The moment you choose deliberate action, The moment you step into your role as a participant in divine justice, the situation begins to change. What seemed unstoppable, what seemed hidden, what seemed perfectly plotted against you begins to unravel. Action is the spark. Action is the lever. Action is the lever. Action is what sets the invisible in motion, making the impossible inevitable. Do not underestimate your role. Do not minimize the power of what you can do, even in secrecy. Every decision you make with integrity, every decision you make with integrity, every step you take with courage, every symbolic act performed with faith is like lighting a torch in the darkness. It exposes the hidden, it shifts the balance, and it forces the forces of deception to respond. The unseen world is not indifferent to your determination. The attacks that were meant to weaken you are the very catalysts that activate the power within you when you act decisively. Have you noticed that the smallest action often triggers the biggest change? That is no accident. Divine systems respond to obedience, intention, and authority. When you act, you are no longer waiting for circumstances to decide your fate. You are participating in shaping your destiny. You become the channel through which justice flows. The moment you move in alignment with truth, even in silence, even in secrecy, even without recognition, the hidden attacks begin to weaken. The forces that oppose you start to unravel. Your action becomes the key that unlocks doors, reveals lies, and activates justice that no human power could produce. Do you know that every word spoken against you, every scheme designed to harm you, every plan formed in secret carries within it a ticking clock? There is a moment when deception can no longer endure, when lies can no longer hide, and when the truth rises with unstoppable force. This is the moment of confession, the moment when those who sought to oppress, manipulate, or betray you will be compelled to acknowledge the truth. They cannot hide forever. They cannot escape the exposure that comes from the alignment of divine justice, natural law, and your own unwavering authority. The confession is inevitable, and you must position yourself to witness it with clarity, faith, and confidence. Too often, people are impatient. They want justice to come immediately. They expect the truth to be revealed at the exact moment they feel ready. Yet the timing of revelation is price, forfeit, and far beyond human understanding. There is a rhythm to how hidden schemes are exposed. There is a pattern to how deception unravels. Those who plot against you may feel victorious now, but the moment their plan reaches its breaking point, the confession begins. The confession begins, whether in silence or in public. And when it does, the impact will be undeniable. What 'twas whispered behind your back will now be spoken openly. What was hidden in darkness will now be illuminated. What was meant to destroy you will now declare your strength. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get away with lies and manipulation for so long? It is not that truth is powerless. It is only that the timing of exposure is being prepared. Every act of betrayal, every hidden attack, every scheme is being measured, weighed, and aligned to reach the point where it can no longer stand. The confession is not random. It is not by accident. It is the product of forces beyond human understanding, the convergence of faith, authority, and truth that cannot be resisted. The very energy that fuels deception carries within it the seeds of revelation. And once those seeds reach maturity, confession becomes unstoppable. You must understand the power of inevitability. The enemy may strategize, plot, and scheme, but no plan can endure against the force of purpose, destiny, and divine alignment. Every whisper against you, every manipulation, every attempt to hide the truth is preparing the ground for confession. That which was meant to harm you is actually confirming your strength. That which was intended to destroy you is producing the proof that you are untouchable in spirit, unwavering in faith, and victorious in purpose. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the observer and the witness of inevitability, the revelation that truth cannot be denied and confession cannot be avoided. Even in moments of silence, even when the opposition seems clever and hidden, you must hold fast to faith. You must believe that the truth is moving invisibly, that every hidden plan is unraveling, that every secret intention is reaching its breaking point. The confession will come, and it will not be partial. It will not be delayed beyond the perfect time, and it will not fail to validate your resilience, your integrity, and your authority. What was meant to remain concealed forever will rise and declare what is undeclared, what is righteous, and what was always yours to claim. When the moment of confession arrives, it will shake the foundation of every lie, expose the weakness of every hidden attack, and amplify the power of every step you took in faith. It is inevitable because truth has no competitor. It is unknowable because it is aligned with authority, destiny, and divine law. The forces that conspire against you have underestimated the power that lies within the alignment of truth, faith, and decisive action. And now they are forced to reveal what they can no longer contain. Have you ever noticed how some people carry a calm, unshakable peace even when chaos surrounds them? That peace is not accidental. That peace is the result of reclaiming power, restoring authority, and walking in alignment with truth. Victory is not just about overcoming the opposition. Victory is about regaining your power and restoring your peace. Too often, people measure success by what they defeat, by who confesses, or by how the enemy falls. But true victory is far deeper. It is the restoration of your inner strength, the reclamation of your self-worth, and the establishment of a life that cannot be shaken by deception, betrayal, or hidden schemes. When your enemies confess, it is not revenge, it is validation. It is proof that you are no longer defined by their attempts to break you. It is proof that you have risen above manipulation, gossip, and secret agendas. Every confession is a reflection of the power that resides in you. A mirror showing that no attack, no matter how cunning, can stand against your unwavering spirit. That moment of recognition, when the truth emerges and the hidden schemes are revealed, is when your peace is restored. It is when the weight that has burdened your soul is lifted and the clarity of your purpose shines brighter than ever before. Too many people allow attacks and betrayals to rob them of their peace. They obsess over what has been said, who has brought it against them, and how long it will take for justice to arrive. But here is the truth. Peace is not found in waiting for vindication. Peace is found in reclaiming your authority, in standing firm in your purpose, and in refusing to let deception define your reality. The moment you claim your victory internally, the moment you align with truth, the moment you walk boldly in the authority that has always been yours, your enemy's confession becomes only a confirmation of what you already know, that you are unshakable, unstoppable, and victorious by design. Have you noticed that victory often comes quietly, not with fanfare, not with loud applause, but with a subtle shift in your spirit? When the enemy confesses, you don't need to celebrate their defeat. Your victory is already manifest in your restored peace, in your confidence, and in the freedom that fills your soul. This is why every step of faith matters, every act of righteousness counts, and every declaration of truth you make carries weight. Because the restoration of power and peace is not only about exposing others, it is about elevating yourself, reaffirming your authority, and walking boldly to your destiny. The moment you reclaim your power, every fear that once held you captive begins to dissolve. Every doubt that tried to shake your confidence fades away. Every hidden agenda that sought to death in your path loses influence. The restoration of power and peace is a process that transforms you from the inside out. You begin to see that the enemy's confession was never the source of your victory. It was merely the sign, the confirmation, and the evidence that your alignment with truth, faith, and authority was always stronger than any attack. Do not underestimate the impact of peace reclaimed. It transforms your thinking, it strengthens your resilience, and it positions you to move with clarity in every situation. It turns obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into lessons, and attacks into affirmations of your destiny. When your enemies confess, the real triumph is within you. It is the peace that no betrayal can disturb, the confidence that no whisper can shake, and the authority that no secret scheme can diminish. This is the power of victory realized, the restoration of what is rightfully yours, and the demonstration that your life, your spirit, and and your destiny cannot be defined by opposition.